this process involution. So as you all know, and I always say this, but it's really important to sit comfortably. You shouldn't be, you know, there shouldn't be any certainly pain, but no discomfort as well. So you can sit in cross-legged at the shins or virasana, or even in a chair, which is fine. Some people who have knee issues have to sit in the chair. And then adjust your physical structure so you are calling attention to the median line of the spine. And of course, it helps to take the arms out, turn the palms up to adjust the shoulder blades on the back. And then feel as though, feel your back. When you have that, the shoulder blades flat on the back, that we call it retraction of the shoulder blades, the back body is less likely to round. Movements like this, kind of this retraction, if you were rowing, is very helpful to get that. So if you just pull your elbows back, pretend you're rowing in your room, you'll feel that scapular retraction. You can feel the bone now on the skin. And then pronate the palms down. Remember to turn the inner upper arm skin at the deltoid, bottom of the deltoid, top of the biceps from the inside out. Resist the temptation to close in. So you want to have a nice space between the upper arm and the side walls of the chest so that your arms and hands can relax. And now close the eyes. And again, the body arrives and then the mind often arrives sometime later. It takes time. In 20, it could take a long time for the mind to arrive. So just feel yourself sitting. Sit and know that you're sitting. Settle down without slumping back. And again, arrive here now. Moment to moment, this present quality, not ahead, not behind. Just this body sitting, just this breath, just this one. Quieting the mind, not through force, but actually through compassion and love. Calming and relaxing the body, opening to the way things are. Not pushing anything away, not pulling anything toward you. Just this breath, just this one. And then you can set an intention for today and recite your own personal vow or the one that we've been doing. May I be a boat, a raft, a bridge for all beings to cross the flood. May I be a resting place for the weary. May I be medicine for all who are sick. May I be a lamp in the darkness for those who are lost. May I do so as long as earth and sky and galaxies exist. Until all are enlightened, I vow to be here to serve them all. Dialing your intention to that great vow. And when you're ready, allow the eyes to open and stretch out your legs. We're just going to do one supine pose, Supta Baddha Konasana, with your trunk supported vertically, not horizontally. Last week we did all that back bending work, twists, we kicked the dorsal spine in. Today we're doing leg stretches, and I'm going to present it in a manner that I think will be what I call my go-to leg stretch sequence. It's a wonderful sequence if you've been off the plane, Gail, if you've been on a plane and the leg and the hamstrings feel tight. So pelvis on the floor and you recline back. So Mary Beth, yeah, you can put it vertically because I want your trunk to open. We did it last week horizontally. So vertically, sitting in front of it. Now, some of you remember, it's a small class, so I'll be able to see everything clearly. Some of you will need the additional head support. I don't want you to throw your head back. We did a lot of that last week. So it's very nice just to recall taking the hands to the back of the skull. You don't need to look at me to do this. I'll just verbalize it. Spread the skin as we did last week in the chair back bend. Spread the skin. See how the eyes move from the inner corners to the outer corners, and then lengthen the cervical away. Very nice. Those of you who get headaches, this is a nice adjustment, Lindsay D, on the brain. Yeah. And just look good. These look good. Those are the feet. After about a minute, you can bring some of you, if the knees will allow, Lindsay, then you can bring the knees in, the heels in. Suki, if you need the angle, I'm not sure if you need a little bit of support at the outer thighs. From this angle, the knees look a smidge high, but you might be a better judge. So you're with the soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana, pressing the feet strongly. Good, Mary Beth. Widening the thighs away. Do make sure that you can close your eyes, relax the sides of the throat and the bottom of the throat. So I don't think this sequence is too, I mean, there's a little bit of rigor in it, but I think it'll be somewhat relaxing. And again, I'm just giving you the heads up how it's planned out. So we're going to stretch the legs, working with symmetrical and closed chain poses first. And then as I'm moving along, we'll go to asymmetrical poses and open chain, of which I'll just say Supta Pada Krishnasana 1 is an example of an asymmetrical pose. And when the leg is aerial, say the right leg, it doesn't have something to push into. So that's open chain. So to make the point, it's easier to stretch the legs in a pose like dog pose, when the feet belong to the floor and pressing into the floor and the hips are symmetrical, the legs are symmetrical, than asymmetrical, not open. So I just wanted to give you the heads up so that, many of you will, perhaps want to do 15, 20 minutes of leg stretches, maybe tomorrow or the next day. So I'm hoping today, because it's an easy sequence to remember, I'll call it the go-to leg stretch sequence. That will be my intention. Okay, again, if you need to or can, if there's no pain, discomfort in the inner knee ligaments, take the heels a little closer in. You can take your hands to the outer shins, draw them in, and widen the thighs away, and then stretch your arms overhead. Reach through the fingertips, but do relax the throat. Yeah, the wall is fine if you have access to it. And now hold in bound hand, either at wrists, forearms, elbows, or upper arms. That's good, Luna. Okay, good. You can pump the chest through. That's it. So lift the elbows just a little bit. The arms are clasped at any of those 4 points. And then pump, pump, pump. So you're moving the spine away from the bolster, and you don't have the sensation that it's sleeping on. Change the cross when you're ready. Keep widening the thighs away. So last week we did a lot of chest opening work, which is important, especially as we move into colder weather, etc. We did all those Parayukasanas. I know some of you weren't here, but just as a reminder. Okay, and then finally, more as a way to relax your mind, your throat, your eyes, take the arms down by the side. So that's it. Can be a little bit lower than shoulders or even in line with the shoulders, but again, backs of the hands are pressing. Elbows slightly bent. Feel the armpit chest really open. The breath should feel rather smooth now. You can inhale and feel the breath, side walls of the chest. And then on the exhalation, you can feel the abdomen elongate at the sides of the navel. Good. This is a wonderful pose to begin the practice, to end the practice, Supta Baddha Konasana. It's usually done, I would say, of all the ways we've done Supta Baddha Konasana, this is the most common way with vertical trunk support. Okay, now when you're ready, you can take the hands to the outer thighs and draw the knees inward. I just want to go over, because it is such a small class today. You know, if you were staying like more like 20 minutes as a restorative asana class, and you began to grip here, you could just take a blanket and support your outer thigh. It's better to use a blanket than a block, because you'll find with all that time, 20 minutes, the outer thighs won't be able to drop with a block. They'll be able to drop obviously with the softer surface, but not the blocks. Okay, so now this is what we're going to do. I'd like everyone to go to the wall and do Baddha Konasana. Have a block also. And I think we can try, I think almost everyone, if you fold your Sarvangasana, so I always call this a Sarvangasana, shoulder balance blanket, looks like that. And then I fold it in half, and then I'm going to put it on its vertical side. I know it's white on white, but I think you can see it. And then I'll have a block nearby, or an egg, and I'm going to sit in Baddha Konasana at the wall. So a smidge of height. And then, so this is the interesting thing, as I just spoke to you about the supine one. So if you have the blanket long and wide, the blanket interferes with the outer thighs. You see, there's no blanket catching that outer thigh, so I at least have a chance. And we'll stay here for about a minute, and then you'll take the block on the narrow side and put it between the feet. Now notice when the block comes in, which you're not doing yet, the feet will go out. That's a natural thing. So don't worry. Okay. So Lindsay, if you're not, are you not doing Baddha Konasana? If you're not doing it, you can just have the legs up at the wall. Okay. All right. Just straight legs. Yeah. All right. So I want to see if no one's having difficulty with this, because, and I'll say it anyway, sometimes say someone's knees are like this, much higher than the groin, then what you can do is half Baddha Konasana, half Upavishta Konasana. But I don't see anyone doing that. Janet, that's good. Press the feet, good, widen the thighs away, and just put your hands beside your hips so you're getting the activation of the spine again. Yeah, I know if your wall has a baseboard, it's, you know, it's okay, but it's not as ideal. Like this has the baseboard, it's not as ideal as one. Mary Beth, I can see many of you have a baseboard, but Jenna, you're good. So it's just, you know, that's just the nature of it. Press the feet strongly. So Suk, now we're at the wall in Baddha Konasana. Okay, and in a moment, I will have you, unless it bothers anyone, take the block on the narrow side and place it between the feet. So I would first stretch out the legs, press the legs down, and then take the other leg in. So recall if you took the right leg in, and soles of the feet embracing the brick. That's it, Mary Beth, on the narrow side. So now you're squeezing the brick between the 2 feet. If it bothers anyone's knees, don't use the brick. Or you can go back to one leg in Baddha Konasana, one leg in Upavishta, and then notice how when the block has been shuffled in, the knees may have risen a little bit, Lubna. It looks like especially the right one. Not sure, it's hard to tell from the angle. And you can and notice how the feet have walked away from the perineum. It's possible to take your hands to the outer shins and pull them back. Again, use your hands to activate the spine, kick the dorsal, good Lindsay, kick it in. Okay, these look good. Press the soles of the feet firmly into the brick. Now, what you could do is you could try to use your hands to pry open your feet. So you're more on the baby toe side of the foot, and the big toe side, that's it, Lindsay, will be less in contact. And see what that has to offer, that foot position. So imagine you're gonna flip the block up, right? Imagine your feet were taking, like, scooping the brick. Do you know what I mean? Scoop the brick and sense the brick, your feet can lift the brick up to the ceiling so that their feet are pried open. Some of you will feel perhaps more distance between the sides of your pubic bone and your inner thighs with this foot position. So it's always a good thing. Okay, now take the block out, go back to the classic way, no block. Now, could you have taken the block on its different sides? Yes, of course. Okay, press the feet. That's good, Luna. So now it's easy breezy, right? Look, everyone's thighs have just descended like by 3 inches. Janet, good. You see? Press the feet. Good. The Supta Baddha Konasana and seated Baddha Konasana are such important poses to do, especially if you're, the legs are walking and sitting, they're in adduction. So this is external rotation. Okay, now to help the knees, stretch out your legs in Dandasana, and then you can be away from the wall, unless you need the wall, for Upavishta Konasana. So again, symmetrical poses, using the floor. So see how, again, I notice which leg I'm taking out, press it down. If you need to bifurcate your calf, do so. Make your feet. So the first instruction is make the feet perpendicular to the floor. So ideally no space. So this is where there's usually space, right above the knee, and you can see a gap here. So I'm extending from my inner knee to my inner heel like I do in Supta 1, and I press the thighs down. And then just like you did, lift the trunk up. With long arms, you can bring the hands further back, lift up. So you're charging the armpit chest. Make the legs cover the floor. Now, like we did with the block, assess the distance from the sides of your pubic bone to your inner thighs. And to make that wider, as you know, you can lift up and scoot forward. You can slide forward. It gets the legs a little bit wider apart. Good. Adjust the feet again. Watch the kneecaps. Don't let them roll in, but also don't let them roll out. So the 4 corners, the patella should face straight up. And then again, place the hands beside your hips and lift up. So again, symmetrical leg stretch. Now in a moment, just to alert you, we're doing this pose obviously standing on our 2 feet, and that's Prasarita Padottanasana, wide angle foot pose. So we'll do the first stage of it. Some of you might need blocks on the lowest side, maybe, or your hands directly in line with your shoulders. So come back to Dandasana and seal the legs. You can have the feet hip width apart, they need not be together. The reason being, when we did the seated poses, I don't know if you remember, we did a long lesson on the seated poses, looking at all the leg positions, and we explored the legs apart. When the legs are apart, it's easier to feel the back of the leg, which again, we're using that symmetry of Dandasana and the floor to press the legs down. It's easier to open the backs of the knees in Dandasana, feet together, feet apart than feet together. So I've already lost contact of my outer thigh when the legs are brought together. Okay, now we're going to stand in Tadasana. Take the legs very wide apart. You can face me. Have your hands on your hips. Jump or step the feet. This is the only pose, and I don't know why, and really it doesn't really matter. But in the Iyengar method, they don't jump the feet wide apart in this part. They just bring the hands on the hips and step or jump. And then adjust the feet in the same way. Good, Mary Beth. Run the outer edges of the feet parallel. So we want the legs wide, it's true. But if you have any pain, and I would almost say sensation in your inner knee ligaments, likely that you've gone too far. So no pain in your inner knee ligaments. All right, that's it, Lubna. Put your hand at those indents. This is a better place for the hands to be than here. So you can really see, you can see there's that indent. You see it bulges out, there's an indent, and then it bulges out again, indent. All right, now, bend forward. Now remember the first stage of Prasarita Padottanasana. I know I asked you to face me, but I'm going to tell you this. If you were in profile to me, I want the back to be concave, not lifting up, nor do I want for overly flexible people to push the abdominal forward. That's good. So turning the palms out will help. So you're bending forward now for our first symmetrical closed chain pose. Now look forward from the bridge of the nose because that's more beneficial to the neck versus lifting the chin up. Good. So Prasarita Padottanasana, first stage. Lindsay, you can have the hands a little bit wider because they're a little bit inside the line of the shoulders. All right, now just follow my instructions and you'll be fine as one. Now walk over to the right side. Walk, walk, walk. That's it. Walk, walk, walk. Keep the legs straight if you can. Turn toward that right leg. And now exhale. You can bend the right leg and take it back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take it all the way back. Yes. Yeah, don't overthink it. Just coming into Prasarita. Good. That's it. Now to dog pose. That's it. So now, Lubna, take it back. Yes. Now kick forward with the left leg and your backs will face me. That's it. Prasarita Padottanasana concave. Don't know what you just have now your back facing me. Prasarita Padottanasana. The same pose you did facing me. Good. All right. Now from here, walk your hands back toward your feet. Take the head down. If you need the block, you can take it. Go down. Go down. Elbows in. You need the block to support the head, be it high side, medium, or low side. Take it. So this is Prasarita Padottanasana, second stage. Well done. Head down. Watch the buttocks. They want to roll back. Roll the buttocks over. So the legs are perpendicular to the floor. Now go back to the first stage, concave. Keep the legs perpendicular. Now hands on hips. Well done. And now inhale up you come. Okay, does everyone have a chair for the calf stretch? So if you have a chair and a belt, take it for the calf stretch. If you don't worry about it. You can do it on blocks. Okay, that's in there. So you invert the chair. I think everyone looks like they have the chair. Yeah. Okay, Lindsay V, you're on blocks. That's fine. I see you have that brace there, yeah. Mary Beth, you can put the mat in it so it's just to cushion the feet a bit. Have a strap nearby because I'm going to ask you to pull up. Lubna, you can roll up a piece of that black mat to go in the seat or double. Yeah. So many of you are doing a good thing. Yeah, then Mary Beth, you can put the belt around the rung, the bottom rung, and use that to lift the pubic bone. Remember, I will tell you the buttocks want to stay behind. So you have to remember, I used that last week. Chisel the tailbone, make a fist, step in carefully, and stretch your calves. You know, we're doing this for dog pose, Parsvottanasana. You can do one leg at a time, Janet. That's fine. You know, all right, that's it. Lift the, chest wants to come forward, lift the sides of the pubic, buttock flesh down, tailbone forward to the wall. Mary Beth and Lubna, to the wall, tailbone forward. Janet, that's good. Then just have trust that you're pressing. So there's a tendency a little bit to be tentative. So that's good. Press the feet down into the seat so that the chair won't flip out. Literally. And now, Lubna, move your tailbone. Use the belt on the rung. Move the tailbone to the wall. Buttocks to the wall. That's it. Just hold the sides of and lift up. Okay, now, those of you, Mary Beth, have been there some time, go forward and take your hands to the back rung of the chair, Mary Beth. That's it. Right to the rung and move the buttocks forward. Now, you can do this, Lindsay V, freestanding. You can actually come off away from the wall and then bend forward with the soles of the feet on the bricks. Just be careful with your left foot. Be careful, Lindsay, as you go down. Yeah, your hands can go on the bricks or in front. And then Janet, you too can come forward. Moving to chisel the tailbone, buttocks forward, chest, If it's very uncomfortable on the feet, then add cushioning underneath the feet. And next, like with Janet, you have that extra padded mat, or even, as long as the blanket doesn't slide, Lubna. There's also a way of making the angle less severe, Lubna, by having the heels actually on the floor, but the balls of the feet on. So Gail, now we're just coming forward into the calf stretch pose. Okay. Interesting. Good. All right. Now inhale, come up unless you've been, just arrived. I was just found myself seated in this pose and thinking, oh, I'm getting a nice calf stretch. So what you could do, I wasn't going to do this, but let's do this, is, perhaps take the blanket that you had at the wall and put it behind you. And then, so for some people, they can squat in Malasana with their heels not supported. All right, so you can squat, you can come into it from Utkatasana, and then see if you can stretch your calves in Malasana. I find it helpful. It's not sort of a go-to calf stretch, but it works well. So you could come into Malasana from Dandasana. It's a little bit harder than Tadasana, but it works. You say, so all I have to do is shift the weight. So that's a possibility. Make sure your heels are down. That's good, Lubna. Now extend the arms in line with the shoulder. Yeah, palms down. Reach. Mary Beth, that's it. Palms down. Good. Gail, that's good. You can come into Utkatasana. Make sure your heels are down. Or Suki, it looks like you're doing it with the sacrum at the wall, which is another excellent way to do it. I will teach Malasana. I'll teach a sequence, I think, now that I'm thinking about it, next week. Malasana. Good, Janet. Remember, the angle of the thighs is very different than Utkatasana. The metrics is very different than Utkatasana. Okay, now stretch out your legs. All right. Now let's actually do Adho Mukha Svanasana. Gail, you already do Utkatasana, but I think everyone can do Utkatasana. So look at this, guys. You see, this is Malasana. You see how it's very angular. But in Utkatasana, it's far less angular. All right. Malasana is a tricky pose, especially for the knees. So we're going to stand at the top of the mat. We're going to do dog pose. So again, still symmetrical. Suki, that was good. So what I was saying was, there is a way, I didn't show you this, of doing Malasana against the wall with the sacrum. Do you see? We often teach this to beginners in this way. So my back isn't against the wall, just the top of the sacrum, just to remind you of that one. Okay, now come to the top of the mat, Utkatasana, everybody stay there. Take the arms up, reach up, bending at the hips, shins back, heels down. Lubna, watch the left foot because it's rolling into the midline. Yeah, keep the feet running parallel, jump or step back. Uttanasana, jump or step back. If you need the blocks, that's fine. Or jump, 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 good. All right. So, when people think of leg stretches, naturally they think of dog pose. So I want you to appreciate two things going on. The symmetry of the pose, two legs are stretching, the hips are balanced, outer thighs are moving back, and you're pressing your heels, like you did in Malasana, into the floor. Lift the arches up, suck the outer shins in, but move your inner knees away. Now lift the toes up, even if the heels are partially up, to open the backs of the knees. Open the backs of the knees. All right, now just come down to an all-four position. And now if your heels were even a smidge up, press your heels at the wall where the baseboard and the floor meet so that let me just show this. So if your heels were marginally up, and many people's are, it takes a long time to get the heels down. I want you to use the wall. You can step back, and now I have the wall, that closed chain, to press into something. All right. So for those of you whose heels were down, no need to go to the wall. If your heels were up, then it's just use the wall, the baseboard. That's it. And then the additional thing, it's interesting. Look at your wall and make no mistake, just having the sight of the wall behind you psychologically makes you use your legs more efficiently. There's the wall, and you're aiming to open the backs of the knees. I know I haven't talked much about the armpits. We usually do that, but today we're focusing on legs. Good, Gail. Legs, legs, legs. All right, now walk your feet toward your hands and come into the all famous bend to straight Uttanasana. My feet are hip width apart. I'll bend my legs to connect the trunk to the thighs, and then slowly lifting the backs of the thighs up, I begin to straighten any amount. And you'll do a few times, aiming toward poker stiff straight. Janet, walk the hands a little further back so that, yeah, a little further back so that the arms will be in line with the shoulders as you go down. Feet are hip width apart, bend to get the connection, and then slowly straighten. But your mission is to keep the trunk on the thighs. That's the hard part. Very hard. Okay, now as you straighten, notice the point in which the trunk moves away and stay there. So right now, everyone, I don't want to see any space. Right now, you're in the space literally where your trunk, good, is connected. Okay, stay in that space. Mary Beth, bend the legs a little bit, right? Because there's more right at the navel, bam, Mary Beth. Now slowly begin to straighten. As you straighten, what are you doing first? Pressing the feet, lifting up through your inner legs, moving the backs of the thighs, good. All right. And this is challenging for most people. Don't worry if you can't get the chest to the thighs in Uttanasana. It could take 10 years or more. All right, now place the hands on the hips and inhale, up you come. All right, we'll do one more dog pose, but a narrow one. Those of you who step back with the right leg, you'll naturally step back with the left, okay? All right, so now come to the top of the mat again. Again, appreciate, I want to keep saying this, appreciate symmetrical, appreciate pushing into something, because naturally we're going to change. All right, Utkatasana, arms up. All right, put your mind at the crown of the heel. In fact, raise the toes up, and then Mary Beth, a little more perpendicular in the chest, just a little, yes. That means that the navel band has to move back. Feet can be apart or together, bend forward, Uttanasana, it should be easy, and now step back. Step back. Dude, is that Roy taking a picture of you? Okay. All right. Now, the feet are hip width apart. The feet are hip width apart. Remember what I said in Dandasana. When the feet were hip width apart, harder, right? Easier, sorry, to open the backs of the legs. It's true in dog pose. Can you keep the backs of the knees open? You can raise the toes to do so. Now bring the feet together in the narrow dog pose, but don't let the legs bend. Two legs should feel like one leg. One leg. It should feel like your legs are like the Nile River. The Nile River. Not that I've ever been there, but just imagine it. And it's a free-flowing river, right? There's no obstruction at the backs of your legs. Two legs like one. Two legs like one. All right, now from here, walk your hands back toward your feet. If there's room and if some you're at the wall, walk your hand. Yes, that's it. Now bring your hands beside your feet. This is challenging. Uttanasana, not hip width apart, and go down. Now again, employ, if you need to bring, if the chest doesn't merge with the legs, then bend your legs a bit in the same manner. Lubna, it's fine to have them against the wall. That's another method. We've done that many, many times. So you know how to stretch your own legs. Okay, I think I might go back to this later. This is good. All right, now inhale, up you come. All right, let's do this. In order, I'm going to just slightly change what I wanted to teach. I want you to put your buttocks at the wall, bend forward, because when your legs are at an angle, that you'll have a half a chance of getting your chest on your legs. So buttocks to the wall, you're standing about 12 inches from the wall. You need the blocks beside the feet. Feet can be hip width apart. All right, now go down. Okay, that's it. Mary Beth, good. So buttocks are, you're forward of the wall. Forward of the wall. Okay, now you can put your hand on the wall if you need to, and then shift the buttocks away from the wall and go down again. That's it. So you're coming back to where you were, but starting in a different place. I find this particularly helpful when the legs are at a diagonal. Now, if the chest still doesn't come to the thighs, just notice it. You can have an option of bending the legs and then straighten. So now the legs are perpendicular. Slowly straighten, Lubna. So note how you straighten. You have to press the foot, lift the arch, draw up from your outer knee to your outer hip. Okay, now from here, place the hands on hips. Inhale, up you come. All right, now we're going to do the other way, which is my very favorite. Take the blanket, roll it a smidge, or you can use it if you had a second, that's fine, but not too thick, not too thin. We don't want the blanket to fall out, but we don't want it, if it's too thin, we don't want it to impede movement. So we'll go back to what we just did, look. So I'm at a diagonal. I'm about 14 inches away from the wall, and I'm putting the blanket not here at my waist. I'm putting it at what I call the root of the thigh, right here. You see? And then I'm going in the same way you just did. And then I push, I like to use the wall to push off. And then I complete the pose, I go down. Okay? So try it in that mat. Don't go as fast as I did though. Mary Beth, good. You don't need much of a roll. Good, Janet. Go down. Remember, once you're away from the wall, the legs will be in that classic position of Uttanasana, where the legs are perpendicular. This is, for the most part, where we want to get people to do this pose with feet together, connecting the trunk to the thigh. Lindsay V, just take the buttocks slightly forward because they're behind your heels. I know it's challenging. If you need to hold the back of your calf, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, or to hold the heel so that you can close in the gap. Okay, and now take the blanket out on your way up and come up. Okay, so now we're going to shift gears, 40 minutes in, and have a strap nearby, maybe 2 straps if you have it, or if we want to use a traction belt, we'll see. So now we're going to switch over to asymmetrical poses and ones in which we can close the chain. So Supta 1 comes to mind. So first what I'm going to have you do is bend the legs in this way and come into Dvipada. And then extend the left, and you're going to alternate Ekapada, one leg at a time. The reason being is that when you come into Parsvarottanasana, which is a asymmetrical pose, you will need to get this feeling of the inhalation against the resistance of the abdomen moving back. So do a few rounds of Ekapada Pavanuttasana. Very nice, Suki. This should feel good on your back. I hope the Uttanasanas weren't problematic. If they were, coming up higher, Suki, to a wall or just the seat of a chair would have been good, but this should be fine now. Okay, go in and out, Ekapada. With each time, subsequent time, sense that the leg is merging with the chest, getting closer and closer. So let the breath go. Feel the abdomen moving back, and then inhale against the resistance of the abdomen moving back. Okay, then when you're ready, keep the left foot on the wall, take the right knee in. That's fine to do, Suki, the Jetra. I think Supta 1 at 90 is the classic back, one of the back therapeutics ones. All right, now bend the right leg, place the strap across the ball of the foot, hold the strap with 2 hands, and now see if you can open the back of the right knee. Janet, right above the right knee. So employ 2 methods here. 1, hold the strap with the right hand, put your left hand on the root of the right thigh and press it back. That's front to back method. Additionally, lift the heel up but press the toes down. So that will help as well, and also get to the calf. Okay, Lubna, that's good. Now begin to move the leg more and more, but don't let the right hip move out nor up. Pinning, compactness in the hips. right? Imagine, Janet, that right leg was pressing into pressing into the floor like in Upavishta Konasana. Yeah. So I'm looking at where I say that sort of C curve in the back of your knee. I don't really want to see that. It's not just hamstrings, it's also calves, ankle mobility, heel mobility. Gail, that's good. Keep the right leg in line with the right shoulder. These look good. All right, now just drop the elbows to the floor, just to kick the dorsal spine in, just because there's a tendency, as you know, as you move the leg closer and closer to the chest, the back spine tends to sleep on the floor. So kick the dorsal in, but relax the throat. There's a tendency when the elbows are down to harden the throat. Go to your mats, whatever that might be, although we will revisit this a few poses from now where I'll ask you to go to the final stage holding the big toe. Observe this leg because I want you to feel the difference in the left side, because when you know the difference in the right side, left side for these asymmetrical poses, you can make necessary adjustments to obviously what's coming up, Parsvottanasana, perhaps we'll get to our standing balancing pose. So everything fits in exactly. Okay, and then bend the leg, take it to the wall, and left knee in, Ekapada. I want you to observe the difference in the two sides. And the reason why I'm telling you this is this. As we progress through the sequence, as the poses get harder, what oftentimes is helpful is to do, knowing what we're doing and gleaning now the difference between the right and the left, then you can choose to do the more intelligent side in the harder pose. And that will inform the side that's not working as well. So that I'm just pointing out that the obstacle on the path, so you can do your easier side first when we get there. Okay, left leg up, start at 90. Okay, and then begin to move the left, move the left. Now again, employ the front to back by holding the strap with the left hand, right hand, or you can do it the opposite, and using your left hand on the root of the thigh, or you can hold it with the left and use the right hand, whichever is easier. And then heel down, toes up to open the calf. So that'll sense your calf is opening, as though your hands were still there while we bifurcated the calf in Upavishta Konasana. And then move the leg. See which one leg tends to move more easily, and that's usually the best way. It's because if there's a small difference, you really won't be able to discern it other than by the movement. So is it easier to move the leg? Which leg glides more easily toward the chest? Make that assessment. Make that assessment. Then drop the elbows to the floor, drop them, and kick the dorsal spine in without any congestion in the throat. Supta 1. It takes vigilance because as soon as your mind goes elsewhere, which it tends to do, the back of that left knee will buckle. So you can see that, doing this pose for about 2 minutes, it's a process. Now, could you do this with the traction belt? Yes, to get the compactness of the hips. I think we'll skip that for today. But I think all of you know with the traction belt, you can do it. And that helps you feel that compactness. In this case, it would be in your outer left hip because the belt would be at the root of the left thigh and hooked around to your right arch. Okay. Stay 30 seconds longer just so that we get even legs. Make your determination now because it will help you in a second when we do Parsvottanasana. I'll give you a choice. After we'll do it first once all together, right? Like first traditionally, and then see what's going on. Okay, now just do this. Take both knees into the chest. I wasn't going to do this, but I think I will. Just draw the knees into Upada. All right, now that's symmetry, not asymmetry. Now take the legs up to 90, which is symmetry, but no closed chain. Just relax. So this is UPP. Janet, if you need a strap, take it around the soles of the feet. And then stretch the arms overhead. So this is a challenging leg stretch. It's also abdominal, sides of the navel moving back. It's challenging because the legs don't have anything to push into, even though they're hip width apart. Legs straight. Legs at a 90 degrees. See if you can just stay at least for 30 seconds, perhaps building up over time to 2 minutes. So again, symmetrical, but not closed chain. Imagine your feet pressing into the ceiling. All right, now bend the knees. All right, now everyone get 2 blocks. We're doing Parsvottanasana, which is an asymmetrical pose, but the back heel is down, so it's closed chain, right? So you'll take 2 blocks. Most of you won't need it on the medium or the high side, but make sure your blocks are not beside your toes when you step back. The block should be by the heel. So let me just back up this camera smidge. So you're taking your blocks and you're going to be here. So my blocks are not here, they're closer to my heel. And I'm gonna take the arms up, bend forward, and we'll all do this round. We're gonna observe the difference in the 2 legs. Step back. I want you to make sure you get enough distance between the 2 legs to lengthen the spine, but the back heel has to be down. No heel left behind. It has to be crescent. And then we'll come into the concave stage, and then we'll do the same thing, come back up and do the right leg back. All right, so when you're ready, arms up, exhale, bend forward, step back with the left heel, and make sure you step back a lot. That's work in itself, to reach back. If your heel is up, then go to the wall and step back with your left heel. Now, remember Supta 1, you were just in it. Mary Beth, that's too high in the blocks because the shoulders are higher. I would go to the fingertips on the floor, Mary Beth. You don't need the blocks. Let's see. I'm just looking to see that everyone's legs are straight, your hips are compact. Back. Gail, I think you almost went too wide. Step in a little bit with the back heel. I sense it's too wide. Draw up from the knee to the hip. Lubna, see if you can bring the left hip around more so that the hips are, yes, more symmetrical, like dog pose, you see? Be on your fingertips, Lubna, but you'll get more shoulder blade action. That's it. Good. All right, just stay concave, everyone. This is like Parsvottanasana. It is Parsvottanasana. It's like Prasarita-Padottanasana, but the legs are in an external rotation. These look good. Now kick forward with the back leg, and then we'll do the other side. Good. All right, arms up. Good, good, good. So remember, you have to step back far enough so you don't bypass the hamstring stretch, but not so far back that the heel is way up, or that usually I can tell if the distance is way too long. Arms up, arms down, step back with your right heel. Big step back. Wall is optional, good. That's it. Wall is optional. Left hip in. No, that's it. Concave back. If your back is not concave, you can go from the flat palm to the fingertips or take a dip. Usually that will work. Draw up, Janet, from the outer left knee to the hip. Left hip in, compact the hips. Left hip in, concave back. Good. Now kick forward with the right leg. All right, now we'll take it one step further. All right, so again, we'll still step back with the left leg. So this is what we're going to do. The arms will come up. That's the easy part. Then the arms come down. You can say, I'm not going all the way to Uttanasana, concave, left heel back. All right, now I'll take out the squat for a minute. Now I'm going to lift my foot up. Now there's that calf stretch that you had when your foot was on the chair. And that helps you draw back from the knee to the hip and helps you compact the hips. And then I bring the foot to the floor and then I go down. Okay? All right, so let's see this one. So we're doing the full pose where the chest is on the thigh, and then I'll see what happens. Okay, arms up, arms down. Okay, now step back with the left heel. Now lift the right foot up and feel what that does. It'll help many of you straighten the leg, right? So feel that skin sucking back from the knee to the hip, right hip in, compactness in the hips, maintain, that's the key word. And now bow down as you bring the foot to the floor and finish the pose. Don't let the outer right hip come forward. Janet, go slowly. Keep the right leg straight. Blocks are close to the heel and bow down. Now, if your chest doesn't lie down, Lubna, on your thigh, then employ the bent leg method. Bend it just like we did in Uttanasana. It's a good thing. And then slowly press the right foot, Lubna, draw up from the knee to the hip, and do that a few times. Gail, same thing. Janet, same thing. Mary Beth, you're good. Yeah, make sure, Mary Beth, don't let the diaphragm get caught. So this part of your body right here, Mary Beth, this should, and this is very hard. Think forward. It has to be forward, not retreating back. That's a little moving, a little nuance, but sometimes it's nice to put your hands right there, Mary Beth, right at your navel and move it forward. The diaphragm, always think forward. So forward bend. Okay, Janet, that's good. You can stay in the bent leg. All right, now kick forward with the back leg, inhale, up you come. Well done. So you can see these are intense leg stretches. They're not, we're not, it's not that rigorous. I mean, to some degree, but they have that really stringent, what do you call it? Penetration. Okay, so start at the top. We'll take the right leg back. All right, other side. All right, arms up to lengthen the side ribs. Exhale, bend forward, concave Uttanasana. Reach back with the right heel. Big step back. All right, touch the concave. Now lift the left foot up. Why? It helps you stretch the calf, suck the left shin in. I didn't give that instruction on the other side. Right knee, left knee to hip, pinning in. All right, now pedal to the metal, and now bow down. Now, if your chest, remember what I said about right side, left side. Which side is it harder for you to connect the chest to the thigh? Which side? Observe. Slowly ask yourself, how are you straining that left leg? You have to press. The first instruction is press the foot, lift the arch, draw up from the outer left knee to the hip, then compact the hips and go down. Compact the hips and then go down. Okay, now this time, kick forward with the back leg, feet together, hold the backs of the calves and go down, if that's possible. Roll the buttocks, Lindsay V, slightly forward so that you leave no buttock behind. Lubna, bend the legs to connect the trunk with the thighs. Employ the bend to straight. Uttanasana is harder than Parsvottanasana to get the chest down for most people. It's two legs now, and you have to think of the two legs as one leg and the trunk as one unit. Good, Mary Beth. Now inhale, up you come. All right, now we'll switch, we'll go a little bit outside the box now. We're going to do an asymmetrical dog pose, which is obviously one-legged dog pose. All right, let's try it from the top. Oh, we're doing for time, okay, good. All right, jump or step back or jump, jump, jump. Get the heels down. Should be easier having done Parsvottanasana calf stretch. Good. All right, that's it. So appreciate the heels down. Good, Janet. Appreciate the two legs, albeit not together, but the symmetry of the hips. Now look at your frontal hip bones. They're now parallel to the floor. Now, without listing to your left side, without bending the left arm, without pushing, yes, lift the root of the right thigh up. Don't list into the left. Keep that leg now is asymmetrical, but has nothing to push into unless, Mary Beth, you have the foot at the wall, which is hard for me to see. So the chain is not closed. Make the leg straight. Remember Supta 1. Good. Now descend the right leg, feet toward each other. Look at your hips, even, Steven. Now lift the leg up. Left leg up, but keep the hips balanced and don't let that left knee bend. Don't let that left knee bend. Okay, and down you come. Just take a well-deserved rest, child's pose, and we'll put all the pieces together in this vinyasa. So we've been at this for about an hour now, which is maybe what you don't have in any given day, certainly. Maybe another day of the week, you might consider this. And we've gone up to this one-legged dog pose. So just reflect a moment on that. And then we're going to do something that you could get here sooner too, if you didn't have an hour's time. Keep your arms long though. Yeah, so you're reaching forward. I know it's more restful with the arms down by the side, but I want you to get the length of the side walls. Okay, so I'm going to take you through this. We're basically going to do dog pose, one-legged dog pose, lunge one leg forward, and then from the leg come back, lunge position, come back to Parsvottanasana. So I think in order to bring the leg up to the top of the mat more easily, everyone's hand should go on blocks. So this is what it's going to look like. So we're putting all the poses together, symmetry with asymmetry. So this is symmetrical. And then Adho Mukha Svanasana, symmetrical. Then I'm going to take my right leg forward, hopefully in one fell sweep. Now notice here I have to step in a smidge so my back heel is down. Then I go from bent, which is lovely, to straight Parsvottanasana. And then if I wanted to, I could even go to one-legged dog pose or not. It's up to you. You can vary it. All right? I hope that was clear. All right? I'll take you through it. All right. So have the blocks, yeah, that's it. Close to the feet. Exhale, bend forward. All right, now jump or step back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. We'll do what we'll without the Ekapada first. All right, right there. Use the floor to open up the backs of the knees. Now, with the hands on blocks, it's easier now to bring the foot to the top of the mat. Bend it, yes, swing it all the way up, Mary Beth, that's good. All right, now you have to step in a little bit with the back left heel, it turns out. Okay, now slowly, like we did previously, draw up from the right foot, slowly straighten the right leg, and simultaneously bow down. Good, Janet. Walk the hands a little further back to the heel, Janet. It's easier to get that trunk onto the thigh. Well done. Now, bend the right leg, send it back to dog pose. You don't have to do the Ekapada, we can do that later. All right. We're going to walk the feet a little further back. All right, now same thing left side. Bend the left knee, stamp it to the top, lunge position, step in with the right heel, back right heel down. Janet, fine to use your hand manually to take it up. All right, now from this bent leg lunge, slowly press the foot, draw up from the knee to the hip, straighten the left leg and bow down. So it's kind of like you're synchronizing the luna, straightening the leg with bowing down. Because here's the thing, when the leg is bent, the chest is on the thigh. I need you to maintain that as you slowly stretch. Okay, now go back to dog. Swing that left leg back. All right, rest in child's pose with your hands on the blocks, and then we'll do the second one. Okay, those were good. So you can see now, symmetrical is easier, close change easier, and bent leg is easier. Most people will find it easier to go to a straight leg from a bent leg. If you're getting tired, then of course you can, I'm losing people, they're dropping like flies. All right, Suki's back, Gail is gone. Oh Lord, okay, it's fine. We realize this is the time of Zoom. All right, let's do it. Come up. Hey, come up prone. No, you can do it. Let's do it. Come up from dog from a different place, from an all four or even prone. We're going to try it from prone with your hands on the blocks. In fact, everyone can. Just as a variety. Or not, Mary Beth, that's good. Push up through a high plank, a high chaturanga, I should say. That's it. And go back. All right, now shuffle in the blocks. Mary Beth, I don't think you need the blocks for your hands, but if you find it in order to get the leg forward. Now try this because I saw you doing this, Mary Beth. Take the right knee into the chest first. Now get momentum, swing it up into the air. Yeah, let it lift to one-legged and then shoot it forward. That will help many of you get the leg up without the blocks. And then if that, doesn't do it, then manually take your hands there. So you're in the lunge, everybody, lunge position. All right, now step in, get the back heel down. That's it. slowly from the bent right leg, straighten the left leg and bow down simultaneously. Synchronize the straightening with the bowing down. And then Mary Beth, remember my hands right at your navel, moving the diaphragm forward. Moving the diaphragm, chest go forward. Good, Suki. All right, now take that right leg back to one-legged dog pose. Janet, your legs are getting straighter. Take the right leg back, one-legged dog, and now dog pose. Okay, rest in child's pose, and we'll do the other side. Well done. Just rest. So remember, there are different ways to come up into dog pose, from all four, from a prone, stepping back from Uttanasana, Utkatasana. It's good to get a little upper body work in now because it's been so leg stretch centric. Place the hands on the blocks or not. Push up into dog pose. One also can use a strap. Okay, well done. All right, now you take the left leg up. So lift the left leg up to one Ekapada. Now with momentum, shoot it up to the top, come into lunge position, left leg forward. That's it, Lindsay. Back heel down, bring that right hip around as that back heel comes down. And then get the leg bent, yes. And now slowly begin to straighten the leg. Slowly. Keep the chest onto the thigh as you straighten, as you straighten. Make sure that back heel is down so the back leg doesn't bend. And bow down. Lubna, this is getting much closer. You see the chest to the thigh. So right now, everyone's poses are better. Okay, now shoot the left leg back, one-legged dog. Beautiful. Okay, and then come down. Now, final Supta Pada Gishtasana 1. Obviously, it will feel good to rest. So this is the one where you're going to hold the big toe. I think everyone, you know what, I want you to try to hold the big toe between the index finger, middle finger, and thumb. Some of you might go to the sides of the foot. All right, so we're going back to Supta 1, but no strap. Because if ever there was a time to do it, it would be now. Suki, don't go to your max that bothers your back. Or you can do a twist or use the strap. Yeah, use the strap. All right, that's it, Jan. So you're bending the leg. That's it. Now, if the leg is slightly bent, so be it. I just want you to hold that big toe to get used to that. Left leg is straight, good. That's it. All right, now raise the chest, raise the head, let the right elbow go out to the side, and sense your chest again merging with the leg. Merge with the leg. Oh, this is where I should have had you do the easier side first, sorry. Okay, change sides. We'll go back to that in a second. All right, so hold the big toe, so you use the strap. All right, so now making Supta 1 a process, your next step, holding the big toe, which some of you can go, Mary Beth, beyond, I'll show that in a minute. All right, that's it. Roll the right thigh in, press it down, lift the chest, lift the head, make sure you're not lengthening your cervical spine away. And now bring the leg to you as you go to it. Left hip moving in. Good, Janet. Very good. Okay, and now come out. Now, what I'd like you to do is go to your easier side and take the very, very next step. So some of you will you'll hold the big toe. Mary Beth and others can hold the sides of the foot. So say I've assessed that my left leg, which it actually isn't in real life. All right, is easier. So I'll take and then watch. I'm going to hold the sides of my foot or even the heel. And then take it fully. All right. So now use that more intelligent side to take the next step in Supta 1. So for most of you, it looked like for many of you, Janet, you have the left leg, which I thought. Lubna the left, Mary Beth the right. No, the right. Okay. Lindsay V, the left. Okay. Suki, be careful. Use your strap, especially with back issues. Just be at 90. Or you can even do this one, Sue. the quasi-jetra. Okay, everyone else taking it to the next step. So you're on your the easier leg, because that leg will teach you, good Luna, lift the chest, let the elbows go out. These look really good. I'm glad to see many are using the wall for your opposite left foot. Yes, so now you're in Parsvottanasana Supine, and change sides when you're ready. So it goes from big toe to sides of the foot to the outer heel in terms of moving along. All right, here we go. We didn't do the standing Utthita Hasta, but that's okay. I wanted to get to Paschimottanasana. Good. So this is the harder side, although for some of you it doesn't look. So observe, like for you, Lumna, the right side, it's a little further back perhaps than the left, but that's okay. Janet, yeah. Yeah, so the Janet, that's fun. You can have that leg slightly bent, because now you're planting the seeds for the future ones where you're holding the big toe. Okay, now take both knees into this. Chasukhi Dvipada with the block underneath would be good too now. Suki, let me know if your back bothers you between now and Friday, and you can do some back care basics on Friday. All right, so everyone just mute. Yeah. All right, so this is where we're going now, and this is Paschimottanasana is always a wonderful pose if forward bending comes easily for you to do before Shavasana. Suki, if your back hurts, I would just sit on a blanket and do Dandasana. So you can put, I'll show this one. Lubna, this will work well for you. You can have a bolster to watch or 2 blocks. So I like to have the wider bolster, and I'm putting it beyond my feet. And this is a nice bolster because it actually has the straps that I can hold on to. So Suki, if you're I wouldn't have you come forward to Paschimottanasana, can be very hard on the back, although you could sit on a chair and reach out to the wall, Suki. So here I'm in Dandasana, and then Lubna, so the bolster's wide. So you don't, so a lot of people do this when the hands are narrow, the elbows are point down. I want the elbows up, the hands wider. So this part of your back is not lifting up to the ceiling, but rather away. And then Mary Beth, additionally, everybody, this part, and this is tricky, it's like Uttanasana, only now you don't have the legs underneath you, so it's harder to do Paschimottanasana than Uttanasana, and then you go forward. So this is the part that stays back, Mary Beth. You have to kind of encourage it now, like here, encourage it. So this is moving forward, the backs of the thighs are moving that way, and then you go. That's it, Lindsay. See, Janet. Feet are, yeah, they can be a little bit apart. Remember, yeah, that's it, Lubna. Now lift the elbow slightly up, Lubna. Now everybody press the tops of the thighs. That's of course de rigueur. Lindsay V, that's really good. The top of your knee is really working well. That's it, Mary Beth. Reach forward. So the arms are wider as aided by the bolster, slightly up to bring the upper spine in. So you can do your rolling or Dvipada with the sacrum on the block. Janet, that's really good. Yeah, with the bolster against the wall. Wonderful. Now observe, for some of you can see there's a little bit of a gap. Janet, this is good. Lubna, right here between the navel and the top of the thigh. So try, if you have a gap, then watch this. Look, I bend the legs. You see, that's a beautiful thing. I merge the chest with the thighs. And then all I have to do, remember what you did in Uttanasana, is look, Lubna, straighten the legs. Any amount. Oh, okay. So go from bent, use that same, okay, these look really good. So this is a work that really works. Today it really works. All right, and then straight, yeah, that's it, Lubna, even more. Now draw up, skin, Lubna, from the knee to the hip, and then clamp the thighs down. Good, right above the knee. Lindsay, that back of the knee is opening well. Janet, your legs you're covered the floor. Beautiful. All right. These are really super duper good. All right, now go on your back. This will be nice. And do this. Just it'll feel good. So if you can do this, this will feel good. I'm taking that same bolster. Oh, feels good on my back. This is good. My feet are flexed. Oh, so good. Now, similar to what we did in Uttanasana, you will take your little roll. You might need a smidge more because, as I said, Uttanasana, it's not to say Uttanasana is easy, but it's easier than Paschimottanasana. So now I'm making a smidge more of a roll. Then my roll of Uttanasana is this. So you can just say, and then I'm going with the blanket. Mary Beth, this can be helpful because the blanket itself, in and of itself, being there, will spread and move the diaphragm forward. And then you can additionally have this guy, Janet, at the wall. You can have the blanket in your abdomen and the bolster beyond the feet. Try it that way. This is also restful. So now no one has a reason of, everyone's trunk will merge with the legs. That's it, Janet. Tuck it right in, Janet. So get it right. Yeah, not so much just resting on the roots, but tuck it in. Tuck that in. And then look, see, so imagine I'm standing behind you and I'm pushing, this goes back with the thighs, forward with the diaphragm. That's it. This band here, the navel band, should feel rather wide. And Suki would, so with back issues, I wouldn't have this. I would just have people on their back, knees in. Okay, this is good. And then we'll do Shavasana for the back with the lower legs on the seat of the chair, which will feel good on your hamstrings, but also on the back. So we didn't do, the one pose we didn't do, which we'll do on Friday, is Utthita Hasta, where we do basically Supta One standing. But I think that from this variety of poses, you really got to stretch your legs. All right, now slowly just transition yourself to a Shavasana. I mean, you can use the chair with the lower legs. I think that will feel good on your back and your hamstrings. Or if that's not good, then you don't have to do it. Main thing as we sit and we come together in the beginning, then now too, you just want to do a Shavasana that you can deeply relax in, whatever that is. You can dim out the lights, use an eye pillow, blanket. So good. Just appreciate the hamstrings now, relaxed. It's helpful, the bolster can go on the tall side, tractioning the lower spine away. The abdomen spread, the sides of the throat and the bottom of the throat spread, and let the eyes spread, as though the eyes were open and you're looking at the periphery of the room. See if you can carve out the space to relax. Make a clear space for inner balance and wisdom to be revealed. Which means that one has to set aside the agenda for the rest of the day. You have to put it down. Not ahead of yourself, not behind. Just here, just now. And sometimes it's necessary, especially, if you have a very busy day, you literally have to tell yourself, I'm going to put it down. I don't have to think you now. clear intention is there, so that a stillness of the body and the mind and a quietness of the heart can be found. Cannot be found in the litany of the to-do list. Sense your body resting on the floor, body breathing. And keep coming back to this anchor of the body or the breath. Feel the body resting. Feel the body breathing. So I think I'm going to end a little bit earlier because we did a little more Paschimottanasans. I was really pleased with the results. And I'll give me it's small in number, give me a chance to talk to a few of you before you have to go on your busy days. So I'll have you transition to an upright position, and then you can unmute yourself. And we'll talk a little bit about Uttanasana and Paschimottanasana. We have the time. Okay.